Lots of business people will tell you that if you're doing business in Nigeria, you should do business in Ghana and vice versa. I think it's like the US and the UK. We share a common heritage, we speak a common national language, and our needs and our aspirations are not that different from a perspective of if a product sells well in Nigeria, there's probably a demographic in Ghana and vice versa that should have almost similar and natural appreciation for it. Um, what are the similarities? I mean, they would probably be quite the same almost anywhere. That people place a value um, on solutions to near and pressing needs they have. If a solution is also eloquent and affordable at the same time, like a good Japanese car in the day, things have changed a bit, then anywhere you go, people will appreciate it. So that's what I find really similar. If you can solve relevant problems and if you can do so for a good economic return value, then it's not difficult doing business in either Ghana or Nigeria. Fairly relatively fast growing markets outpacing um, infrastructure. And so severe power shortages is common in both countries, which is a challenge that's common in both. But if I'm looking at what's probably different, not from a perspective of what's a challenge, but what you might find to be significantly different is that Nigerians tend to be more assertive in the work environment, more naturally goal driven, whereas Ghanaians tend to be a bit more laid back, a bit more laissez faire. Um, and I don't know whether that is relative to geography. I mean, there's only 1 hour time difference between Lagos and Accra. So there isn't obvious or very evident, very easily evident significant difference for why you'd have that. It may lie in what have become the countries and how they become so. Ultimately, Ghana, Nigeria, where the distinction is probably clearer for me is more if you're talking about the Black Stars versus the Super Eagles, then it's not as complicated. Starting an IT business advice, I would say IT is IT everywhere. And so let me be more specific, starting a technology business, because that's what my experience is. Um, you can't compromise on excellence. People everywhere are used to world class products when it comes to technology, regardless of where they are. Um, Rather, I would say you probably need to innovate a little bit more to adapt for some of the challenges in local infrastructure. So you want to innovate a little bit more, and so excellence you can't compromise on. Then adaptation is key, except that the speed at which you may need to adapt, you're looking at pretty fast changing markets where because infrastructure isn't as strong as it may be in comparable emerging or developed countries, there's a lot of change when there's innovation. So you want to, from a technology perspective, iterate quickly, iterate often, and those are the things I'd say. Be excellent, um, be positively flexible, adapt. Don't compromise on your vision, your mission, your core values, because those are your strengths, which you need even more in relatively difficult environments compared with environments that are more advanced from a perspective of people and infrastructure.